I have this in the book, is maybe it's not about balance at all. Maybe it's about simplifying, making better choices, and creating clearer boundaries. In your life, you can sit there and say, am I balanced? Well, think about your life for a minute. Think about when if any of you are a mother, when you had a baby, did you feel like you were balanced? I mean, I was just like spit up, pacifier, spit up, pacifier. I didn't know anything about Elaine Turner designs. But think about when maybe you started, she said, she led, she is, or when you got that first job, or when you knew that you were going to be put on this committee, and were you balanced then? No. So I think that balance is also one of those dangerous words that we feel like we've got to fit into all of these things that we're told. And ultimately, if you're imbalanced, I think that I look at it as like sometimes when we're imbalanced is when we're progressing the most in life, when we are pushing forward, like humanity is pushing forward, And so I think sometimes we got to let that go, that we have to be perfectly balanced, work-life balance, lean in and having it all. And so ultimately, what does all this do? What do all of these things that we're sold and we're told do? As much as we feel guilty about it, and sometimes we wish it wasn't true, it feels like pressure. People don't want to admit it, but sometimes all these possibilities and all these choices create a pressure and a stress inside of us, and that's okay. It's okay to admit the complexity of what we're going through as women today. And it doesn't mean we're not grateful for all the women before us who set us up for all of these incredible choices. But the reality is today, as a woman, and I know I feel it, sometimes I don't know what to choose. And it causes an internal sense of anxiety. And so what I wanted to leave you with today is, okay, how can we rid ourselves of feeling that anxiety? How can we look at it a little bit different and not feel like in some ways we're not enough, that we're not matching up? So I walk through some of the things that I try to practice in my own life, which is, the first one is just let go and simplify. And I know probably a lot of y'all are thinking, oh, she means just, let go and clean out your closet. That's not what I'm talking about. Which I think those things are good. And I'm a huge believer in the, minimalism and simplifying your life. But really, when I talk about let go, you guys, I'm talking about let go of the things that your psyche holds on to that no longer serves you. Shed those unrealistic expectations of yourself and anything that you've attached yourself to that brings you down. So whether it was something you were told as a child, whether it was something, maybe I was told along the way that maybe fashion wasn't a worthy vocation. Maybe you were told that you didn't have the right body type. I don't know what it is for you, but let go of that. That is what I mean when I say let go and simplify. Allow yourself to let go and reframe the way that you see things. That's so important as us as women to start feeling like that we are enough, because we are. Another one I talk about is celebrating this, live in the moment. I want to talk about living in the moment. That's a huge one. And I know this is popular right now, right? It's always so annoying when people are like, okay, you got to live in the moment. You're like, what does that mean? I'm stressed out. I'm in traffic. My husband's bugging me. What do you mean live in the moment, I know. I'm always like, and I think more than ever, it's like we're sitting here going, oh my gosh, I'm just trying to survive, right? I'm trying to get from A to B. But really, I think what it means is allow yourself to be intentional and mindful about where you are, like right now, here today. There's nothing more important than what we're doing right now today as women, being together. Nothing. So allow yourself to it's almost more of a mindfulness of saying, I know that to be true. It's not saying create the impossible and you're zen all the time. None of us are. But allow yourself. Like I have an example. I just went and saw my son, just left for college, and I told myself on the way to the airport, and I made a little announcement with my daughter and my husband. I said, I'm not going to get on my phone this weekend, and I'm going to be in the moment. I gave the big, I'm going to be in the moment. And my daughter's like, what does that mean, And but sure enough, I put my phone away, and I was totally present in the weekend. And you know what's interesting? I could hear the laughter clearer. I could almost sense and feel the love as a family. We all missed each other so much. And it allowed me to open up. When I got back on the plane to come home, I realized, you know what? I did it. I was there. I wasn't at work. I wasn't talking to a store manager. I wasn't talking to social media director. I was with them. And so it's just something to remember. We're not going to be perfect at it, so I'm not sitting here trying to preach that. I don't know. We're not preaching perfectionism. Let it go. So the other thing is celebrate the small wins. In our family, celebrating the small things is essential. When you are in a family with somebody with differences or challenges and everything comes harder for them, we're almost forced as a family to look at things in a very new way. So when I say celebrate the small wins, I'm not talking about, I got a raise or a promotion today. I'm talking about I got to work on time. We have to, I'm talking about I didn't snap at my kids today. I ate a little bit healthier today. I only had 1 glass of wine instead of 2, whatever it is. And so you've got to celebrate. Because as humans, we're so biased, and I just wanted to point this out, towards the negativity, the negativity bias. There's science to prove this, that our brains are still programmed towards protecting ourselves from these immense stressors out there. But ultimately, all that does is train the brain to focus on the challenge, to focus on what went wrong today. But if you really are able to look back, you can look at your day, and probably as, an even amount of stuff went right that then went wrong. But we're so trained towards the negative, which is a challenge for all of us. And then, my last one, progress, not perfection. I can't really say enough that we have to know that every single day is progress, and we have to let go of the mom guilt. I don't know how many of us out there are mothers, but it just sits on us like a cloak that we never quite feel like we're doing it right. And I have a quote I want to share with you in the book that I think, somehow kind of, wraps up the idea of what it feels like being a mother. Being a mother doesn't suddenly require perfection. If anything, it requires humanity. Modeling for our kids that not everything is always picture perfect, but that doesn't mean it's not awesome, or shall I say, good enough. So I want to also just say to you guys, these last sort of mantras, my mantras, instead of the credos that we're taught out in society, are we shouldn't be so hard on ourselves for accepting that there's only so much we can do. We don't have to be perfect. We don't have to have it all. We don't need to do everything all at the same time. It's fine if we only have room for a few things in our life at certain times. And just remember, there's never only one right way. There's only your right way. Thank you so much.